For today's cup of coffee, we have something that's interesting. I've actually been working on this one for a couple of weeks on and off because there's some people that go way out there with this particular subject. I'm not going to go way out there with it, but even when you try to, focus on it, which is what I'm doing at this particular point. We've got Kat that's not normally in here, and of course he's in here.
He's normally not doing this either, but he decided to jump up on both of us.
So I will warn you, men, this particular subject may make you uncomfortable at certain points. So you have been forewarned. And if you hear a sudden fling, that will be Kat.
The cat will be flinged.
Yeah. Now, this is kind of the way that I have to explain it. I don't know that there's any really easy way. I have tried to consider the easiest way and hope I have done that. That may not be so, but, what can I say?
This boy is slender.
Well,
this cat is slender.
I am not concerned about the cat.
But he's right here.
Yes. But he's annoying. Anyhow, we're going to be talking about Saturnalia.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Saturnalia?
Does it look like? I've heard of that.
And I'm going to start out the differences between Cronus and Saturn.
Uh-huh.
Because this is important. So just keep this in mind when we get into the rest of this. And this is from a website called Ancient Links, and I really, really enjoyed reading this article. I didn't see an author on this, but like I said, all the links are going to be in the description box, so you can check this out. I'm going to probably study other things by this individual. And he says, technically, the Greek Cronus should be the same as the Roman Saturn, because Cronus is the son of Uranus and Gaia, and he married Rhea, and together they had 6 children, which was Demeter, Hera, Hades, Hestia, Poseidon, and Zeus. And then Saturn is the son of Calus and Terra. He married Ops. I started to say oops. It's Ops. Okay. And together they had 6 children. Ceres, Juno.
6 children?
Pluto.
Oops, that's a big oops.
Yeah, really. Pluto, Vesta, Neptune, and Jupiter. And a lot of people are going to go, that you're familiar with a lot of these names.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of oops, I'll be right
And when you take a closer look at Cronus and Saturn, they actually couldn't be more different. Now, Cronus is hectic, cruel, primitive, and downright evil, while Saturn is actually, a relatively nice guy, except for the fact that he castrated his father and ate his children, but he also presided over Saturnalia,
which is children?
Yes.
Why?
Which is the coolest festival in Rome. Now, in Athens, there's a similar festival that's called Cronia, but it took place in the summer. Now, the sickle that Cronus has in his hand is the weapon he used to castrate his father. And the representations of Saturn, he usually has a sickle in one hand and a bundle of wheat in the other, which is more Lord of the Harvest type thing.
Uh-huh.
And he says, by the way, the symbolism of the sickle is quite funny because the sons of Cronus and Saturn cut them into 1,000 pieces with the same sickle after they became all-powerful.
Party.
Yeah, and so in general, the sickle is used as representations, like I said, of agrarian gods, such as Saturn, but also Demeter/Ceres, and that was made of gold. However, the one used to castrate Uranus was made of stone.
Okay.
Yeah. And the time when Cronus ruled the world was considered the Golden Age, but the Golden Age is supposed to have begun after Saturn was overthrown by his children. So there is differences between that.
Uh-huh.
So just remember that as we go through this. And also,
I'll try to keep that in mind.
From Wikipedia, from theirs as far as Saturn mythology, this little excerpt, and it says that on the statue of Saturn, according to Pliny, its feet were bound with wool, which was removed only during Saturnalia. And the fact that the statue was filled with oil and the feet were bound with wool may relate back to the myth of the castration of Uranus. Oof. Now, Uranus was the father of Cronus.
Okay. We love that. So, don't we?
And part of that was so that they could not produce other children. But I think that was kind of rather extreme.
Yeah,
anyhow,
just a little bit.
After in this myth, as far as Cronus eating the children's, the mother Rhea gave Cronus a rock to eat instead of him consuming Zeus. And once Zeus was victorious over Cronus, he set up his throne at Delphi and constantly constantly anointed the stone with oil, and strands of unwoven wool were placed on it. And the stone even wore a red cloak and was brought out to the temple to take part in ritual processions.
What?
Hey, okay. I don't know. I think that it seems like at some point...
It's a rock.
Well, this is where you get into the legends of the Titans and stuff, which is like many cups, which I probably will not cover. But
or
it seems like
just one that's like 2 hours long.
There was myth that the Titans turned to stone, so that could go into some of that. You're going to have to remove Cat. He's bugging me. All right.
He's upset because I'm not paying attention to him.
Now, as far as the main, that was just the prelude. Now we got the main thing, which is about Saturnalia, which comes from history.com. And Saturnalia is held in mid-December, and it's an ancient Roman pagan festival honoring the agricultural god Saturn. And Saturnalia was the most popular holiday on the ancient Roman calendar, which was derived from older farming-related rituals of midwinter and winter solstice.
Return of Saturn.
Especially the practice of offering gifts or sacrifices to the gods during the winter sowing season. Now, the pagan celebration of Saturn, the Roman god of agriculture and time, began as a single day, but over the years it expanded to a week-long festival beginning December the 17th. Now, on the Julian calendar, which the Romans used at the time, the winter solstice fell on December 25th.
Ooh.
Now, during Saturnalia, work and businesses came to a halt, sort of like they do for us today. Uh-huh. People decorated their homes with wreaths and other greenery, and then they shed their traditional togas in favor of colorful clothes. And it says even slaves did not have to work during Saturnalia and were allowed to participate in the festivities. And in some cases, they sat at the head of the table while their masters served them. Instead of working, Romans spent Saturnalia gambling, singing, playing music, feasting, socializing, and giving each other gifts.
Okay.
Wax taper candles were common gifts during Saturnalia to signify light returning after solstice. Now, on the last day of Saturnalia celebrations, many Romans gave their friends and loved ones small terracotta figurines known as Signorella. That's it.
I was going to say terracotta
That's
figures.
That's it. Figurines. They're just...
Honeywa.
Well, it could be. Which may have referred back to older celebrations involving human sacrifice.
Ooh,
now,
sacrifice.
Right.
Sacrifice.
But we've got to go to this. And this is from Britannica.com. And talking about Saturnalia, it says, concerning the gift candles, the Romans had a story that an old prophecy bade the earliest inhabitants of Latinum send heads to Hades and photo to Saturn. The ancient lanterns interpreted this to mean human sacrifices, but according to legend, Hercules advised using lights, phos meaning light, or man according to accent, and not human heads. So either we don't understand whether or not they really committed human sacrifices, or that they had screwed up and not understood that they were not supposed to do human sacrifices.
I feel like they screwed up a little bit.
So anyhow, and they say that the festivities were so riotous that the Roman author Pliny reportedly built a soundproof room so that he could work during the raucous celebrations.
Okay.
So apparently he didn't take part in the festivities.
I guess not.
Now, constructed in the 4th century AD to replace an earlier temple, the Temple of Saturn in Rome served as the ceremonial center of later Saturnalia celebrations.
You good over there?
No, I'm not. On the first day of the festivities, a young pig would be publicly sacrificed at the temple. And then the cult statue of Saturn in the temple temporarily had woolen bonds tied around its feet. But during Saturnalia, these bonds were loosened to symbolize the god's liberation. In many Roman households, a mock king was chosen, and he was the leader of Saturnalia, sometimes also called the Lord of Misrule. Usually a lower member of the household, this figure was responsible for making mischief during the celebrations, which included insulting guests, wearing crazy clothing, chasing women and girls, and other.
Of course.
So that would be the fun part.
Yeah.
And the idea was that he ruled over chaos rather than the normal Roman order.
He's chaos.
Kick. The
just
common
another term for
holiday,
LOL.
I understand that, but you've got to realize that within that, it is Pepe. It is Pepe, and it is
Pepe
Kek.
is just
Kek
a meme.
is like,
It's not even part of Kekistan.
don't you tell us that. The common holiday custom of hiding coins or other small objects in cakes is one of the many dating back to Saturnalia, as was a method of choosing the mock king. And thanks to the Roman emperor's conquest in Britain and the rest of Europe from the 2nd century BC to the 4th century AD, and their suppression of older seasonal rites practiced by the Celts and other groups. I mean, this is old. This is, since there's been people, they have gone in, conquered other people, took away their shit, replaced their shit. This is why nobody knows shit.
Exactly, pretty much.
And today's Western cultures derive many of their traditional celebrations of midwinter from Saturnalia. And of course, as we understand, Yule. Mm-hmm. So more than likely, the Romans came in
Yule Hall
and took over as far as, it was a Yule Hall. It really was. Took over Yule, inserted some of their stuff, and then the Christians came in and they just, I don't know.
God.
Anyhow, it says
it's a whole lot of fuckery is what
it is. The Christian holiday of Christmas especially owes many of its tradition to the ancient Roman festival, including the time of year Christmas is celebrated. The Bible does not give a date for Jesus' birth. In fact, some theologians have concluded that he was probably born in spring, as suggested by references to shepherds and sheep in the Nativity story.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
What? Because you don't pasture sheep in winter.
Yeah, I thought you just they don't give a damn about his birthday.
No. And by the 4th century AD, Western Christian churches settled on celebrating Christmas on December the 25th, which allowed them to incorporate the holiday of Saturnalia. We've got cat in front of candle. And other popular pagan midwinter traditions. If he's that stupid, then again, wall it off, let it burn. Pagans and Christians coexisted, not always happily, during this period, and this likely represented an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans to accept Christianity as Rome's official religion. Before the end of the 4th century, many of the traditions of Saturnalia, including giving gifts, singing, lighting candles, feasting, and merrymaking, had become absorbed by the traditions of Christmas. And within that, I will say, no, that's not totally Saturnalia, that also includes Yule, because a lot of those traditions were there as well. So I'm not going to let the Romans, this many thousands of years later, try to take credit for Yule. No, Yule. I mean, there are many
Right.
cultures that recognized as far as the winter solstice and the summer solstice. There were, peoples across the world that had incredible calendar systems and stuff. And so they knew when these things occurred. It was interesting because somehow astrology became very demonized at a certain point. At one time, there was no separation between astronomy and astrology.
Right.
And it should be the same today. You've got those that study astronomy, and they're like, oh, look, there's something in the sky. Astrologers go along, they'll go, yes, there's something in the sky, and this is what it means. Because they have studied these. And as far as, the older gods that people named the planets and stuff after them, gave them the attributes. And that is still very much true with astrology today. If you've got whatever planet is doing its thing, you've got the traits and characteristics of the Roman and or Greek gods. Okay, if a planet goes retrograde, then you're getting the dark side of that. And since that Venus is going retrograde.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to be interesting, and it's going to be for several months.
Like, what do you mean by several months? Like 5?
No, I'm not. I can't remember what Leo King said. I can't. Somehow it's either 9 or 18. I'll have to look that up and let people know on the next. And let people know on the next cup.
That's a whole last year then.
Yeah. Can be. I mean, some of these transits take a very, very long time.
God.
Yeah. But if you can plan accordingly.
How do you plan accordingly to something like that? That's going to blow the world up.
It's not going to blow the world up.
We don't know that.
There's a difference between blowing the world up and blowing the world that we have known up. And there are certain aspects that do need to be changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's just, it's just like the full moon tonight. And it's interesting because, and I've done better this year than I have in years past. When we get closer to winter solstice and the light, there's less of it, it becomes just palpable. I mean, you can actually feel it. And it's like my energy level just tanks even more so than normal.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times after that, I start doing better because I know, and it's not just a, thinking thing, but it is that you can feel the light returning.
Mm.
So that's why we go out. And we may very well on the eve of solstice, we may light the torches outside.
Yes.
I need to.
If they work.
Well, you put it all in. Well, that's the reason I had put the caps on them.
Okay.
I did do that the other day.
Okay, that's cool.
And so we can do that. I'm going to try to get in touch with Omega and see if he can get us some holly, if it's not going to be too much problem. And I would like to have some evergreen, something like that, just to have around the house as a reminder.
Yeah, I need to kill the cat.
Yeah, well.
I need to give him back those SNES games because I cannot pay him.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm sure that he'll understand that.
But I will clean them up and give them back to him.
Right. Well, we appreciate him greatly. He has just truly been a blessing to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to celebrate Saturnalia, if you want to celebrate Yule, if you want to celebrate winter solstice, if you want to keep preparing for Christmas, it doesn't matter. This is a time of celebration.
Absolutely.
Because before the bleak midwinter, and anytime that you can gather together with friends and loved ones and just sit down and enjoy each other's company, share a meal, whatever. I'm looking into making mulled wine.
How do you make that?
Actually, it was like a red wine, and you can put, sugar or something in it. You can put cloves
have
and
sugar.
cinnamon. I can use sugar substitute. Cloves, cinnamon, orange peel. Some of them had put orange slices, and you boil it, and you can serve it either. Usually you serve it warm.
Right.
So that sounds like something. It's just supposed to be a warming. You've got all those nice spices and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Party.
Yeah, exactly. It is a time of celebration.
Yeah.
So, if you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters, UFOs, aliens, cryptids.
Allergy-ridden eyes.
Yeah, we didn't even go into like the black cubes with the Saturn thing and all that bunch of stuff.
She'll do that in another episode.
Yeah, because that one is just kind of, that's the reason I wanted to. I have heard a lot of these.
Is Saturn making a return?
I would have to go and look at it. I don't know all that stuff off the top of my head.
Because I know, like, it's been away for a while, hasn't it? Or something
I try to give you updates on this, and you're not interested, and you expect me to pull that out of my hat at the drop of a hat, and it doesn't work that way. But if you would like to share with us your regional family, myths, legends, and also customs for celebrating this time of year, that would be great.
Yeah.
And so just send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. What is your winter tradition?
Yeah. Know that you're loved. Thank you for having coffee with us.
Yes.
Yeah, we brew fresh daily.
Take allergy medicine and eye drops.
Yeah, and
clean your damn room too.
So
house.
We will see you all on the next cup. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Yes, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and hit that little bell if you are on YouTube. Any comment, Mama?
No, you won't let me rant about the YouTubes, so I'm just keeping silent on that one.
Fine, you can rant if you want to right now.
Anyhow, it's all good. It's all good.
YouTube is asshole. There you go.
They are asshole. So anyhow,
go ahead and rant about it.
All right, bye.
Y'all have a good night or day whenever you're watching this. Bye.